Hey everybody, Michael Pilhofer here, MSP Fitness TV. You can also check us out at mspfitness.com for more information. Today is going to be the last of a three-part series on tempo. The first video we talked about how to read tempo. The second, we dealt with the rules of tempo. We put that all together now and we can deal with how that affects proper bar loading. In this scenario, I'm going to create just an imaginary environment of a 3-set work set. I'm picking back squat. You could actually put any dumbbell or barbell related lift into this, even body weight for that matter. I have the same rep scheme and tempo that we used in the first two videos just to try to keep it all cohesive. The first questions that tend to come in when we talk about proper bar loading relates to how many warm-up sets are appropriate. First, just keep in mind that the whole idea of the warm-up sets are to prepare the body and mind to do the work. So this can get fairly individualized. We're going to generalize, at least for a heavy barbell lift, somewhere between 3 to 5 is appropriate big picture. Other than that, it's going to be very individualized from person to person. What you're going to notice is that I have only kind of the first work set filled in with the rest to be determined here. And this is how we have to perceive this. We need to use the data from previous lifting environments based on the lift, based on the reps, based on the tempo to come up with our first target. So we're going to presume that this is a lifter that's fairly seasoned, that knows that 205 pounds for 6 reps at this tempo is going to be challenging. So from there, we can kind of reverse engineer the mechanism so that we know kind of what the proper loading will be for all the appropriate warm-up sets before we get to this 205. So with that 205 as a target, let's go back and kind of lay out our warm-up sets now. I'm a big fan, regardless of where our work sets start, I'm a big fan of starting with all warm-up sets with the bar only. So we're going to do the barbell, 45-pound bar. We're just going to presume the 45-pound bar for 6 reps. Now, think in terms of where our target is, where we are, and how many more warm-up sets we have. We have 3 left. So if we do the math, that's a 40-pound jump for each subsequent warm-up set. Takes us to 85, 125, and then 165 before we go and do our first work set at 205. One thing to understand is as the warm-up sets progress, as the weight increases in the warm-up sets, because we know confidently that we can perform 205 for a heavy 6, we do not need to continue to do 6 reps all the way through this warm-up. So if you think in terms of as the weight increases in the warm-up, your reps will decrease, again, with the warm-up being just a means of preparing the mind and body to do the actual work. So the way I would interpret that is I would probably still do 6 for 85, which is a pretty good fraction of the 205. But 125, I might only do 4, and 165 for sure I might only do just for a double. Why? Because I know where work really starts, which is going to be 205. So we presume now let's get over to our work sets. We've rested. We're going to take that 205 for 6 reps. We're following the tempo to a T. Based on the rules of tempo, we know that if we made this lift for 6 reps, what do we do with the weight? We increase the weight. That's the whole game. I'm going to increase to 215. Now, I'm going to take that lift, we're going to follow the rules of tempo, and I find that actually I can only make 5 keeping the tempo honest. What do the rules tell us? If we miss the top rep range, in this case we only earned 5 reps at 215, what do we do with the weight? We hold the weight. So third set comes around, I keep the same 215 on the bar. Maybe at that point I can only squeak out 4 reps and then we walk away. This is an ideal environment of proper warm-up, balanced loading from rep to rep, or excuse me, from set to set. And then when we actually evaluate the actual work set, you'll see that we really only worked with a 10-pound difference between our 205 as our start point and the 215 for the second increase. If we look at a big picture, I would like to generally keep all of my work sets within 8 to 12% of each other, which we did actually here in spades. We kept it actually within about 5-ish% at this point. That just means that the work set that we actually do is work. So putting it all together, we now understand how to read tempo, the rules around tempo, and its implication on proper bar loading. Hopefully now that you can take that back and that can gain clarity in your lifting environments. So hope you enjoyed our 3-part series on tempo. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check us out at mspfitness.com.